Hello YouTube land, welcome back to the van build. Today I'm going to start framing the inside and putting the frame up for the bed, which I have done earlier, but I measured it and it's actually a little bit too high, so I'm going to lower it. And what I've done in the past, and this video, all my videos are made for people who have never done this type of work before, maybe have never done any type of construction before. So I try to explain things as best I can as if somebody's never done it. And all this stuff, it takes time. It takes time to learn just how to use a screw gun. And even, when I was putting the water pump on, I'm putting the screw up and you start the screw and it falls off. And, I think that happened like 4 or 5 times. And like, that's just normal. And building something and then having to take it apart and rebuild it or move it is totally normal. It happens to everybody. So if that's happening to you, don't stress out. It's just part of the process. So, I put up this bed, rail here, this kind of ledger board, and I'm like, I guess it's a couple inches too high. So in building my other vans, I was never really on a very level surface. And so everything I built from square from the floor. And none of these walls, the vans kind of, they're not straight boxes. So that adds an element of challenge. What I'm doing on this van, which I think is going to make it easier for me, is I actually leveled out the van. So I jacked it up. I put some shingles underneath the tire and jacked it back down and checked my level. I'm like, I need like 4 more shingles under there. So I've leveled it, and now this is a laser level that kind of floats. It's no matter where you put it, it'll find what's level. And so I've set it up in here, and what I'm gonna do is set it at the right height for where I want this ledger board, and then that way it's easy to keep it lined up. But just to check to see like how level this is, we'll just measure off of this window here. Off the bottom of this window, and you can see we're about, if it stops shaking, 1 3/8 is about where it's at. And on this side, let's take a look at this. It's about 1 1/4. So I'm off by a 1/16, 1/16 too high on one side and 1/16 too low on another side. So I'm not building a piano, it's a camper van, so I'm not going to worry about it. To me, that's level. And then I also measured it front to back, and it's the same all the way around. So part of these videos are also for me to come back and look at in a later date, and when I'm preparing to do the next build, and I go through it and what could I have done better, what could I have done different, or what am I going to do different on this next build. So some of these videos are a little bit of a documentary for my own use. So I'm gonna stop talking here. I'm gonna start working. So I'm gonna put the camera on time lapse and see what we build. All right. Aloha. Thanks for watching. Okay, so you saw how I put that board up using a level. That's not necessary to use one of those laser levels. If you have one, awesome. If you don't go out and buy one just to do this project. Just measure up 12.5 inches or whatever you want to measure up, make a mark, do it on the other end, and there's your line. So, put a screw in one end, make sure that end's at the right level, and then go to the other end and level it up and do it. So I also wanted to show you this tool. This is a cool tool. Basically it's a laser ruler, okay? And the way it works is, let me write down these numbers before I forget. 68 and 5/8. Okay, so the way this works is I can put it against this here, turn the laser on, point the laser over to that side, to wherever I want my board. So if you can see that, yeah, there you go. And then so right about there, and then I'm going to hit the button. Oh, it turned off. Let's try it again. I had it on too long. There, I push the button. This says 72 inches. So I'm going to take a couple readings just to make sure. That one says 72 inches too. So I'm pretty certain that this one says 71 7/8. So 72 inches. The other one was 68. Van's it's not square, so I wouldn't expect it to be. So those are the two ends of the frame for the bed. So everything will get kind of framed off of that square. So all right, this is where I'm stopping for tonight. You see, this is going to be the bed over here. It's going to get another center plank here, but I just don't want to put it in because I don't want to work around it. This is going to be the plank closest to the end of the bed, or the edge of the bed, but the edge of the bed is actually going to end up being right about here. So this is going to get probably a 5/8 inch or maybe a 3/4 inch thick piece of plywood on here that I'll put the mattress on. And so that plywood will come to here, which will overlap or overhang this outside brace by like 6 inches, which that thickness of the plywood is going to be not near any, it won't have any effect on it. It'll still be strong enough to withhold that. And it's the edge of the bed anyway, and most of the weight is going to be closer to the center. So and then I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do on this side as far as boxing out the air conditioning unit, the rear air conditioning unit, and then making some shelves here and some cubbies for clothes. And then I'm going to have over here I'm going to have I'll have a shelf, kind of like I do in my current van. The shelves are always really nice to put linens, towels, that kind of thing. Although I have a basket now for towels, but you can put clothes up there and whatnot. So and I'm gonna mount this 2x4. I'm gonna have to cut it on an angle to match the van, and then I'm gonna have to cut it to match this, and that is also angled. So that's kind of a funky cut, but I want to be able to get that 2x4 tight in here, and then put screws on an angle, screw it to this metal all the way down. That'll be super strong. And then when I go to put my paneling on, I'll just put my paneling right over this 2x4, which will be flush with this metal. So it'll be, it'll be kind of like that. And then I'll run my paneling all the way up. And then I think I'm gonna run some cedar strips, actual wood cedar strips all the way down to cover up this gap, and be able to access the electrical and whatever else is in there. Let's see. So, yeah, I'll show you how I'm gonna do those cuts. I don't have any, all I have is like hand tools. I don't have I don't have a bandsaw. I don't have a table saw. But I've got hand tools, and that's all I need. That's all anybody needs. If you know how to use hand tools, like a circle saw. If you know how to use a circle saw, then you can, I can do almost everything you can do on a table saw with that circle saw, and then some. So it's just knowing how to use your tools, and so it's going to be an interesting cut on that. So I'll show you how I do it. And will it be easier if I had a table saw? Sure, but do I need to have it to do it? No. So, all right, aloha. That's all for the night, and we'll see you on the next video. All right.